It's a good question, War. Put another way, what exactly is wrong with me? What is the exact make and model of my psychosis that allows me? Um, yeah, I have the wand attachment as well, which I don't really like relish the idea of melting that much of it. That would also work, but ugh, be gross. So how do people not get bored of doing this? Is it because you have an idea of what it's going to look like, or do you just enjoy relaxing and making stuff? So, uh, oh, thanks, Sebastian. I love that. Well, you're in luck then, because I'm here doing it just about every day in some form or another. So crafting for me to answer your question, or if rights, crafting for me, I've is not something I've ever done before D&D. And when I started playing D&D and realized I really liked it, I wasn't drawn to crafting. What I was doing, I was drawing a lot of dry erase maps, but I didn't think that I would do the crafting thing. Even miniatures, I thought was like, I don't need a ton of those. Obviously, my perspective changed. And once I started to do it and just try it out, I found that a few things really appeal to me about the crafting. It's fun to be able to make something that I imagine, right? Make something that is not going to exist unless I make it. That's really neat. I like the effect that it can have on the game, right? The example of if you put trees on the table, all of a sudden every player or some player at the table is going to think of climbing a tree. So there is an imaginative aspect that it sort of amplifies that I think is really fun. There's also an ooh factor, right? It's fun to impress the players, but also it makes me feel really, really good. I like when the game can encompass stuff that I've made that just feels really satisfying. And over time, I came to really enjoy, yeah, you called it out, kind of it's sort of peaceful to make things and to craft things. This is, long before I was streaming. I spent years doing this, just kind of getting into the rhythm of making stuff at night. But then there's this whole other aspect for me, which is really odd. And I've done a little bit of sort of charting and sort of thinking about how I ended up here, right? Between like different like video editing that I've done in my past, the little bits of DIY or crafting things here and there, certainly with technology enough for the streaming and storytelling. I love movies and books where my inspiration comes in. This slice of things where I'm making the game, like everything, 98, 99% of stuff that I make is to enhance the game. It's not really usually decoration or display. I don't really craft for that reason. That's why the stream it's not really about the crafting. Really, I view all this stuff as like enhancing the game somehow, in this case for a one shot that I'm writing to publish. But this exact slice of everything that I'm doing in this like hobby that I'm trying to turn into something more. It's more than a hobby already, right? Because of all you guys, because of all the bricks on the table and people supporting and buying stickers from my store and stuff like that. It's already more than a hobby. But this is like the only time this it's an odd and fulfilling experience to be called and to internalize that I'm an artist. I've always done sort of technical things and art adjacent things, and I have a pretty broad view of art and the creative process, but people don't, right? And the industries that I've worked in, generally, I'm sort of relegated to more technical, less creative roles, which I've always disagreed with and always kind of fought against, but that's just kind of always the hole that I've found myself in. And now, especially with you guys and with the audience and stuff that I have online, there's a very different perspective of me, right? Where they're like, of course you're an artist. What do you mean? But that's taken a couple of years to really sink in. But it feels very true to me, being able to design encounters and experiences at the table and test those out every week and revise them. It is technical, it is creative writing, it is, in this case, sculpting and making and painting things that are sometimes weird and sometimes unfinished or not done or whatever. But all of this feels, for me, my answer to that question of like why spend. Let's see here. Let's check my counter. Nearly 50 streams, 150 hours on this cottage, right? There's some of it over here on the table. It's not just this here, but 150 hours on a build, on this craft build. Not the one shot. The one shot has a different set of streams associated with it. This is just the craft build. I think the reason that I relish in doing all of this and spending the time is because for me personally, this is the kind of the time in my life where I feel like I fit in place and I'm not trying to be something else. I don't know if anybody can relate to this, but when I was in junior high and high school, all I wanted to do was be in college. I got started early in college. I was so eager, but then by the time I got to college, I just wanted to work and be independent and start to establish my career. And then, like I said, kind of through my career, there's always been these kind of artificial walls that are put up because of how people perceive me or what my role is supposed to be. And I'm not creative. I'm not an artist. I'm not whatever. And here in this role, I just want to do more of this kind of stuff. It doesn't feel like if I'm trying to be something else. This just feels like me in a very comforting way. So I think that's why I can do 150 hours and go like, oh, okay, that's fine. Maybe it'll take 200 hours or 300 hours. I mean, I don't think so, but whatever it is will work for me. Art is a process, true. Well, art is to be my views on art are like really, really broad, but also definitions are not always super helpful. I think that, yeah, lots of things are lots of things in lots of different situations. So